Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here today, joined by my friend Eve Porcello. Did I say your last name right, Eve?
Yeah, it's excellent.
Porcello.
Yes, the second pronunciation was even better. Yeah.
Oh, very good. Yeah, so Eve, you and I go back quite a while. I'm trying to remember when we first met. Were you in the Angular community back in the
Not
day or no?
not really. I kind of missed the Angular wave. I was more I don't know what I was even doing at that time, but I think we got to know each other through React stuff. So,
Okay, so
yeah,
it would have been like we probably met like 2015, 2016.
I think
Like it's been a
so.
while.
It's
Like
been a
that's
while.
almost 10 years ago, actually.
Yeah, it's hard to stomach that a little bit, but
Yeah,
yes.
that's crazy. It's
That
crazy. Well,
2015 is 10 years ago. Yeah.
that is kind of wild. I think Y2K was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Gee. Anyway, I will sometimes say to like in a group with my family, I'll say I feel like I'm getting old. Well, I'm the second to the last of my family, and
Yeah.
my dad is in his 70s, and he looks over at me like, "What are you talking about?"
People don't like it when you say that to them when they're,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Of that
Well, Eve,
generation.
I'm excited to have you speaking at the conference. Before we get into what you're talking about, I'd love for people to get to know you a little bit. Can you give us a quick intro to yourself?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Eve Porcello. I let's see, have been teaching and working in the JavaScript world for the last, I guess, almost like 13 years now, 14
Hmm.
years. I work on video courses and books and teaching workshops in person, and also work on all sorts of developer tools and things like that alongside that.
Very cool. So, what areas do you teach mostly, and what areas do you work in regularly?
Yeah. So I went pretty deep into the React and GraphQL world for a long time. Now I'm teaching a lot of more meta classes, so teachers for teachers,
Mm.
and kind of presentation skills, things like that. And then still a lot of JavaScript and a lot of AI stuff now. So getting into teaching all of these tools that we're going to need to know about as things evolve in that space.
Well, that's exciting because your talk is about AI and presenting. So I guess that makes sense. That tracks.
That
The
tracks.
title is Building an AI Assistant to Deliver Your Best Presentations. So that piques my interest. Of course, I selected your talk of the many, and it's not the other interesting thing is you're not speaking alone. So can you tell us a little bit about your talk and what you're planning on?
Absolutely. So I've been working with my friend Kira Corbett. She's an amazing person. She was also born in 2000, like the Y2K situation. So she always reminds me of her age, but her, she'll tell you about her own background as just like a superhuman programmer of all sorts of cool things. She works a lot in IoT and
Hmm.
AI stuff. And I'm super inspired by all of her work. So we were talking about how we could start to use AI in our presentations. And so the title of our talk is a little bit of a joke in that there's many meta layers going on about how we're going to um, build our own AI presentation, but also have AI start to do some of our work for us there. So I'm trying not to give too much away,
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
is
this
going to
is
be fun.
very intriguing. Yeah, don't give away too much. I don't want it to be spoiled. It's like watching a trailer for a movie and they give you all of the spoilers for the whole thing. And yeah, I don't want
Exactly.
that.
I'll try not to. Yeah.
Oh, well,
um,
that sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds really interesting and pertinent. There will be plenty of engineers there who are individual contributors, and they just like clock in, they work on some code, and then they clock out.
yeah.
Why is like developing a presenting skill all that useful for those people, and how does AI relate to that?
Yeah. So I think it helps us with communication throughout our teams. So even if you are working as an individual contributor, you still have to share your ideas with other people and coach folks who are um, on your teams as well. I think that this will help for people going to give presentations, but we do build a demo in the presentation that uses a lot of cool AI libraries and things like that. So,
Mm,
kind of thinking about how you can start to inject some weird, fun things into your own applications. We're going to be using ML5 and some other AI libraries that kind of build upon the JavaScript tools that we love, but take them in a new direction with more machine learning and some things that can accelerate our work. I think there's a lot of cool voice recognition stuff that our talk uses as well. So
mm.
that's kind of, we're thinking about that like a cool accessibility thing for our apps that we're building, as well as just making things faster as these tools get better.
Well, that sounds very interesting. Yeah, I completely agree that developers need to be able to communicate. In fact, I would say that with AI improving on a regular basis, your
Yeah.
ability to communicate is becoming and to like have interpersonal relationships with people is becoming your differentiating factor, against AI. And so, yeah, developing these presentational skills is really critical for that.
Yeah, I think you're so right about like just because AI is advancing and it's going to change the way that we work, I think there's a way to really not get too worried about that and also lean into the human aspects of connection. And that's why I think going to a conference is so good, where you're like actually having those conversations versus talking at people in a little text box and sending it along and going back to your day. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there through presentations just to connect with people and share your own unique, weird, interesting ideas.
Yeah, love it. The weird ones, especially.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
you will see.
Awesome. So Eve, you talked about this a little bit, how important it is for people to develop these connections. What are some other reasons why you feel like it's worthwhile to go to conferences? Why do you uh, uh, travel and go through all the effort to prepare talks and stuff? Because like as an educator, you're doing lots of online stuff.
Mhm.
So why couldn't you just get all of your work done online and then just stay comfortably at home? Why do you have to leave the house?
Great question. I think it is a really important thing. I do love remote work and all of those things, but there's something that is just tangibly better about going and actually speaking to people in real
Mm,
life. You're going to have time essentially just to spend with people, and through that time comes the conversations that you probably wouldn't have if you're just kind of having these asynchronous communications, or maybe you're presenting something and you don't get to get as in the weeds. So in teaching, I think that I have taught a few classes in person and I have just felt like, oh, I miss this. Or I go to a conference and I'm like, oh, this is really like, I am going to follow up with this person that I
mm,
had this conversation with because that was a really interesting thing that they brought up. Or you just are kind of immersed in so much information throughout the day, which I feel like is a really good way to go back to your little cave like I'm in right now. This is particularly cavey today. And to put together like your new, you're going to approach all of your work with a new set of eyes because you're just getting so much more information. So
yeah, yeah, and that checks out a lot. Like if you're doing something online, the conversations are just even if it's like a real time thing, like
yeah,
the conversations are more like shallow is not quite. You know what I mean? Like they're just not. They don't go as deep.
yeah.
And so yeah, in person, and then on top of that, you can't ski on the Utah slopes if you don't come out to Epic WebConf.
You
So
sure can't. You could try, but the simulation is just not the same as
yeah.
doing that. So and another thing about that, I think March, such a killer time, an underrated ski time, I feel like,
Mhm.
across the country, but especially in Utah. There's such good spring skiing. So
Yeah. Lots of people just check out. Oh, okay, it's February's done.
We're done. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, and that's
Just
part of
starting.
what's nice about this too. Is like a lot of people will take off, and so for those listening who don't know, we are doing an unofficial ski day. It's unofficial because I don't want to deal with any of the legal stuff of making it actually official. But
Totally.
we're all just meeting up there at Solitude the day after the conference, and there will probably be a bunch of us. Last year we had like 8 of us who went up together, and I
Oh, cool.
expect there will be more this year. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely don't miss it. And Eve is a good skier. I've never skied with you before, so I'm looking forward to it.
I haven't either. I'm looking forward to that as well. And I love teaching people to program, but I especially love teaching people how to ski and taking people and getting people excited. So even if you haven't gone, I would say definitely come. Send me a message. I'd love to get you on skis if you haven't been. So
Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Eve. Okay, Eve, last thing. So when we're at the conference and we're standing around, people are going to see you and be like, oh, I need to meet Eve. What is the topic that they could bring up that would get you really excited and talkative?
um, I would love to talk about all sorts of different things. Skiing, of course. I'd love to talk about AI. I'd love to talk about your favorite developer tool that's helping save you time, or if you have any good tips on video production. Kent, I'm noticing your awesome setup that's been so turned up to
Thank you.
11 since I last saw it. So it's really exciting to see all the little projects people are working on. So yeah, do definitely come talk to me.
Awesome. Hey, Eve, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to seeing you again in Utah in March. It's going to be awesome. And yeah, we'll see you there soon.
See you there. Thanks.
Bye, everyone.